Shalom out Barak. It's time for a party. This party is called symbiotic relationships. Father's peace to everyone who catches this message. Give me a moment. We're going to share out the live and also start the sequence on TikTok. I do apologize for coming in a little late. Got a special treat today, though. Okay. Wonder if this will work if I try this. I'm going to attempt to share out the live from YouTube to at least Facebook, and then from there, I'm going to open up TikTok. So, I'll turn on some music. This is the special treat for today. I have actually found a remastered copy of an album release. So, of course, this is a test. I'm going to test how much of this album gets picked up. Basically, my favorite activity, right? Helmer Shielding. Assalamu alaikum. My Messiah is called Yashavai, and I'm under the standard of Yahava Ahava. Yes, Yahava Elohim loves me. Ravak HaKadosh loves me. And Yashavai HaMashiach loves me. Thank you, though. Thank you for the reminder. Shalom Barak to you. Peace and blessings. So, yeah, let's find this album, get it started, as well as get this whole presentation started. I'm a little bit behind. Oh, we got 7 people in the room. All right. Greetings to all of you. Shalom Barak. Peace and blessings. All right. So it's not necessarily a listening party. However, there's going to be some music playing, which will introduce you to the idea of what's going on. Thank you for tuning in. We usually are on from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time, and we'll be discussing entrepreneurship and services in your community. In other words, how you can conduct yourself as an entrepreneur and how to provide positive services within your community. We're going to be doing a sub-series this week and next week. We're talking about the origins because I'm speaking on 10 specific special interest groups and how they approach self-proprietor management as well as organic marketing strategies. So pardon me for just a moment while I get things going. Because yes, this is a test. We want to see the broadcasting system actually does pick up what we're putting down. Well, I'm not going to fight the system. It's not giving me an opportunity to be able to share it from YouTube because I don't have access on this screen here. The screen's been damaged a little bit, so there's some things I can't do as far as that's concerned. So I got another device. This one's actually going to be what's broadcasting the live from TikTok. I wanted to see if I could share it out real quick. However, that's all right. We need to go ahead and get started. So, we're opening up TikTok and I'm going to share it out to a few people there. Thank you all in this room for joining me. If you can, and if you like, please share it amongst your friends. Let them know that we're live. Today we're going to be discussing Mafia Soy Publications and how there was an establishment between Mafia Soy Publications and Highest Heights Studio. You are now tuned in to Angelic Discipline, who happens to be the sole proprietor of Highest Heights Studio. I don't usually talk about myself in third person. My artist name is 3P Roj, 3PROJH, and I also have a few other names. DJ Microwave, 5,000 watts, as far as making beats and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes I go by the name Wired Owl. All right. They say better late than never. However, it's better to be on time. That's excellence. Peace to the room, TikTok. Shalom Barak. In TikTok, I do have a subscription set up, and something similar can also happen on YouTube. Basically, it goes like this. The Sahaba, which will be promise keepers on the divine path. I'm trying to get something going where we can plan and initiate a custom strategy to market and distribute your personal products and services. Meaning, no, there's not a cookie cutter formula. No, there's not a just go in and fill in the blanks for your own situations. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I mean, we all need to sit down and intensely and intently think about uh, our mission statements and our strategies of how to implement them. And that's what these discussions are for. You know, get together every day almost in order to make sure that we're keeping it fresh in our minds. Not only what we're doing, but how we're going to do it. All right, so let's find some people over here to share this out to. Let them know we're live right now. And we will get things jumping. JT Pegas, Shalom Barak, Rahim 03, Shalom Barak to you. So I'll give it a little bit of time. I'm going to play a few songs, wait for some familiar faces to come in, and then we'll go ahead and start today's program. Do apologize for coming in a tad bit late. Had a few things to take care of before I could come online. Who's this? Saw you come in. Who? Nayal channel. Shalom Barak to you. Peace and blessings. Kids are getting ready to shine down in dirty south. No innovation is coming out of players' mouths. Shalom Baraka Kati. It's good to see you. It's Tabai. You on the last stream? Yeah. That's great. Thank you for coming back. Today we're going to be discussing the establishment of the relationship between Mafia Soy Publications and Highest Heights Studio. Right now we're listening to the Crystallized Mind album. I'm trying to get TikTok set up. There we go. This is why everybody watches your stream. That's what's up. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. Talking while you raising rockets blasting. With caskets. Locomotive headed straight for Canada. Need some Medicaid. Socialism's the only answer. Make them think I'm Bolivian. OPEC, cause they some villains, making trillions, taking till nothing is left. Move on to the jungles, to some trees, so the planet can breathe. To a simple disease. Luda Coleman in the house. Shalom Barak. Bell BB88. Baron PV. Hamid Ullah. Shalom Barak. Shalom Alaikum. My father's peace to everyone who joins. Bienvenido. Welcome. Welcome. For lies told on friends. The Royal Rumble. Native tribes committing genocide to the ATLian beat of humble mumble. The baby boom of the buzzards. It was already there. Told you how to survive in this place. We were all humans in the same race. So tell me, what the hell are you doing? We marching off to ruin. Benji is the web of all thoughts worldwide. Worldwide web. Let's get some hearts in the room. Let's get some locks. Green means love. Yahaba. Earthquakes. Search for some eats. And walk through tulips on the peaks of Shabazz, but we're not through. Leave me alone to do what I must do. with no splitting the scalps. I don't mean to rush you, but can you tell me what you plan to do about Poland and Russia? Shout out to the coffee drinkers. Wasn't worried about being woke, because I'm awake. How's everybody doing today? Fine, great, and dandy. 6 feet above and breathing. Blessed. Thankful. Me too. Attributes counting up to 99. It's hard to find. Those who get away with doing dirt, serving time. Trojan horses and false rhymes. Patricia Esposito, bienvenido. Welcome. Minister Stephen, Shalom Barak, thank you for joining. Now give me a couple more minutes. I'm gonna play a little bit more music, a couple more faces come in, and we will get started. On a great start as it is. Once again, you only live once. Cause of these days and times. NASDAQ. You breaking bands to pay these strippers, man. I think we'll pause on the game right there. I'd like to say thank you and welcome to everyone who has come in. I once again must apologize. We were supposed to start about 30 minutes ago. That's on me. Got everything all set up, but then, I'll be honest, I'm a human being. Nature called. It is what it is. But today is a special day for a couple reasons. Number one, the music you all were hearing is actually from one of my albums called Crystallized Mind. Yesterday, we were talking about the fact that some people have crystallized, calcified pineal glands. Some people have what's called smooth brain syndrome. That means that you're not taking advantage of that tool that actually not only just works your physical, it also coincides with your spiritual in order for you to move mind, body, and soul. So if your pineal gland has been crystallized or calcified, it's going to detain what was going on when your pituitary gland activated and you were maturing. The Crystalia Hawada. Shalom Barak, Minister. Thank you for joining. Thank you all for coming in today. This is a very special day. Yahava, Yahava is love. Ahava. If you got them, let's see some green hearts. If you got them, let's see the locks. Solidarity, unity, and most important, His will be done. Thy will be done. Thy kingdom come. That's what we're talking about. And we're going to talk about how to make it happen. Because everybody jumps up wanting to say those words. But you got to do more than say it. I was fortunate to grow up around my grandfather. And here's the thing about this man. He was around 45 when my mama was born. And he was about 67 or 68 by the time he met me. And the moment that we met, we both knew, no, we're not one and the same. But here goes a pretty good copy. I won't say pretty good. I will say a constitutional to buy copy. Because out of 13 children and who knows how many grandchildren, along comes me. And I was born the baby of the baby. Right? Now, I wasn't just the only baby, but I was the first one. Popped out looking, acting, talking just like this man. And out of all the people in the world, he was the one person who didn't pat me on my head and say, you go on, little boy. You know what he did? He looked at this big giant afro on my head and he said, Polly, thought you were a little boy. Now here we go again with this. Same person, and my heart goes out to this person. I'm receiving a phone call that I can't take at this specific time. You ever been somewhere for decades, and then when you leave the situation, all of a sudden, wow, you're needed. Did you ever spend a certain amount of time somewhere doing things in preventative measures, so by the time you left, if anyone followed the safeguard rules, then everything would be fine. As a matter of fact, you even tell them, look, I'm going to be gone for a while. I will come back, but you're going to have to wait because I got to go over here and do this thing. Nobody else can do it. They didn't necessarily call me and ask me to do it, but I was pulled to it. I knew that it needed to be done. I can't come back until then. I don't know when it'll be finished, right? You ever had that kind of situation? We're getting somewhere, so I want you all to just bear with me, okay? Because it's always a learning experience. They say when the student's ready, then the teacher appears. How about whenever there's a teaching moment, it's because you are already in the midst of the process. You were either learning or you were in front of a teacher. And even if there's two people intently doing what they're supposed to be doing, here comes another outside force to remind you of the focus. Learning moments are just as important as teaching moments. So I just did that rail for you to get you to understand something. It wasn't a rant. I've dedicated my life elsewhere and set a lot of things in place in order for me to move forward in the other stuff that I'm supposed to be doing. And I can't keep getting called back to go do something that I did years ago. I already did the part I was supposed to do. I mean, you can't ask me to step out of what I'm doing now to go and repeat the process. It's your turn now. Can't hold your hand. I can't do steps. Matter of fact, best I can do is do a report saying you made the steps. Now we can get somewhere, right? Okay. Now, why am I telling you all this? Because if you happen to pick up your handy-dandy scriptural tutorial in life, you will find out that of all the teachers in there, there's not a one where they tell you from day one until the day that they departed this earth, everything that happened to them, every moment, every day. Not a one of them is documented like that. I'm here to tell you, though, they led full lives. Doesn't matter if they passed at 20 years old, 30 years old, 80 years old, 100 or 999 years old. They all led full lives. We on Earth, some of us want to say, oh, they were gone too soon. We don't determine that. They led full lives because they did what they were called here to do. I could tell you that I went and saw all four corners of the earth, but that don't mean nothing if the angels aren't activated. You understand me? Cavalry 3, Olu Washim, Habari, Shalom Barak, Bienvenidos, Assalamu alaikum, our Father's peace to everyone in this room. Today we're going to talk about the origins of how Mafia Soy Publications started a partnership with Highest Heights Studio. If we do a little bit of research and math, we find out that our Messiah, Yahashafai, has been here for at least 33 years before that last story that they want to tell. If we do a little research, we'll find out that Methuselah was 990 something years old. And then we can look at the lineage and add that stuff up too. Add up how many people along the line withheld that same standard that person was doing, because that's also telling you how long that name survived. What if I told you that I do come from Jacob? I do come from Jacob. Yes, I do. Most surely. And it's not because I want to go far-fetched in a book somewhere. No, the man held me up, looked at me, and said, I love you. And I'm glad that you are here. Matter of fact, he's the reason why I'm here. Because he told my mama, you better have that baby. Yeah, I come from Jacob. I come from Jacob. Sure do. And I'm the firstborn son of his daughter. And the first thing he did was took me under his wing and introduced me to the temple. He said, well, yeah, you know a lot of words and you can talk, so let me show you something. I want you to say these words. Repeat after me. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. I will fear no evil. I will fear no evil. I learned real quick, the Lord is my shepherd and I shall not want. Made me lie down in green pastures. I can find my security. I can find my rest. What were you doing when you were 2? Besides learning about Big Bird, because I was learning about Big Bird too. But no, I was being trained. He said, yeah, I'm ready for an assistant, and you showed up. You're the one. Now, I didn't know everything that he was talking about. You see, my granddaddy was a sharecropper. And I didn't know anything about sharecropping because I was born in a city. Lots of buildings everywhere. Not very many trees, let alone crops, fields. I've seen it on Green Acres. Yeah, I'm telling y'all how old I am. Green Acres was showing and getting ready for syndication. I was watching it. Yeah. Gilligan's Island. Excuse me. These were my references, though. Yeah, I've seen farms. No, I got dropped off in the middle of a farm. No, my mama didn't just drop me off. What I'm saying is we left the city and came to a city state. Know about city states? Yes, we're going to find some peace and rest, Akati. Yes, we're going to find peace and rest. A city state is when the capital or major city or metropolis is surrounded by all the things that it produces. And it could be self-sustained. It might trade with other territories. However, it has all the resources that it needs. I went from a major metropolitan area straight into the middle of rural, and I'm not talking about in the same state, not by far. I'm talking about go about 4 or 5 states away. Different region, different climate. Where I was born, it gets cold. Where I was born, the wind has a name. You understand? Matter of fact, I'm a black hawk that's been hanging out with red-tailed hawks. I have to let you know that our Messiah, Yahushua, spent at least 33 years on this earth. And we do know that as part of his profession, he was a carpenter. We know this because it's what his father did. Everybody wants to argue back and forth about, Heavenly Father and Earthly Father. Well, hush all that mess, okay? The man walked the earth. And while he walked the earth, there was another male who lived in the house who was older than him and was married to his mother. Y'all stop it, okay? Stop it. He learned carpentry as a trade through his father. We know that all of that had occurred by the time he was 12 or 14 years old because he had to go to the temple in order to attend for his own bar mitzvah. So we know that he was at least 14 years old. And we know in the culture that there's a lot for an individual to learn by the time they are 14 years old. So we can figure he knew his Shem, he knew his name, he knew the authority that it carried, and he also knew the story behind it. He knew the scrolls because it's a daily study. He knew his purpose. We know this because of what he had to tell the people when he got there to the temple. And then what he said when he walked out of it, because he couldn't tell them the rest of it because he wasn't 30 yet. We know that this man went out and about and did a few things in his life. Now, some question whether or not his father, Yosef, you might know him as Joseph, Yosef may or may not have passed away before Yahushua turned 20 or 30. What we do know is by the time Yahushua come back and started assembling with the disciples, we're not hearing the name Yosef. We are hearing about Miriam. We're hearing about his mom. So somewhere along the lines, Yosef was not there. In our culture, this is what happens when the father is not in the household anymore. Either the brother of the father or someone else will come along to make sure that the household is okay and it's stable, to watch out for that mother and to watch out for the children. They don't have to come in and say, well, okay, I'm going to marry you. No, you don't have to do all that. But you check up on each other because it takes a village, right? So it doesn't say anything about Miriam got with anybody else. It just basically, there is no more mention. So when the father's out of the household, the eldest, having a trade, make sure to provide for the household, for his mother, and for his younger siblings. If we do our research, Yahushua did have a brother. Some people would say Jaime. Some people would say James. That's his brother. Who do you think was looking out for Miriam and James after Yosef passed? There's a reason why in the scripture it's telling you, oh yeah, the Father will be providing mansions for you even where I'm going, because he showed them that he had already done something similar where he was. I'm here to tell you, it's not about telling a message the man died. No, it's about telling you how he lived before he even got to the point of death. Because by the time he got to death, he was paying a price for how everybody else was living. Please get it right. He didn't climb up there and die just for the sake of dying or just for people to be able to say, oh, how gracious and merciful that was and what a miracle and da da da. No. He went through that whole process just for you to see what it really means. Because even when we pass away, we still have to pay for our own sins in times of coming up short, especially when we didn't repent, when we didn't change, when we didn't go and strive for excellence. We still have to pay for it. He might have died for it, but no, it's not over. Not by far. So I started that rail earlier because the person that's calling me is someone who was right there with me from day one. Not everybody knows all the stories of all the different prophets as they came and went. Sa alaihi wasalam, peace be upon all of them. No one knows the full stories of them. We've got notes about the times they were trying to tell us how to do right. You ever attempted to build a legacy? I'll tell you right now, $5 an hour, $40 or 40 hours a week. You have a hard time trying to build a legacy. $20 an hour, 60 hours a week. You're still gonna have a hard time trying to build a legacy. Why? What does $1,200 get you? Especially after you pay taxes and tariffs. Especially after you pay for a lease or rent or loans or groceries, utilities. You wind up needing $300 more. You haven't built anything except for debt. Makati macchiato. Shalom Barak. When I was 6, or actually 5, I prayed because I kept walking in rooms and hearing adults talk about how bad it is. Hard to find work. Hard to be accepted and respected. Hard to be in the skin I'm in. Hard to fit in. Hard to express myself. It's hard. Life is hard. Hard. Hardy, hard. You know? I'm steadily hearing it. Don't know if I want to grow up if everything is that hard, because it's not that hard to me right now. I'm hearing all the stuff that y'all are saying and doing, but you know, if you went and maybe tried it a different way, it wouldn't be so difficult. Now, they're not going to listen to a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 4-year-old, or a 5-year-old telling them these things because, oh, we've tried all that before. We've done all that before. You banded together. Yes, we sure did. We started up our own communities and everything. We started up our own businesses. Yeah. Then they burned out. What'd you do after that? We joined them. All right, you joined them in burning yourself out? No. We just joined them. You didn't go back and try it again? A couple of us did, but no. So you didn't repeat the solidarity. You didn't repeat the process. Oh, some of us got together on the West Coast and they did their thing and started all this noise and then moved into the Midwest and even a little bit on the East Coast. But were you solid? Did everybody do it? No. I mean, some people, they were just waiting on this and waiting on that. Well, there's a difference between being active and waiting. Yeah, I know the bus is going to come. So that means I got X amount of time where I could be doing something up to the point to when that bus comes and I have to speak with the bus driver and be on my way. I can be at the bus stop for an hour ahead of time. Probably see another bus go by going the same route. but I want to be on this bus with this driver. So what am I going to do for that hour? I could be at the house doing something. I could be elsewhere doing something, shopping and on my way to the bus stop. Or I could be sitting there on the bus stop conducting business. Because nowadays we don't have to go and sign in and do a 9 to 5 somewhere. You can do business from home or while walking about, or you might already be on an assignment and you're just traveling. I want you to get this picture in your mind for you to understand something. Because when I was 5, I knew about buses, and I knew about taxis, and I knew about walking. Because these are things my mom and I did all the time. I knew that if I wanted to get across town very quickly, it might cost me something, but I can get in that yellow car over there. If I want to get across town and see a few things and watch other people get at their location while we're going to our own, I can get on that bus. If I'm going somewhere that's less than 20 or 30 minutes away, I can walk down the street. Now, while summing all that up in my head, I'm trying to figure out why these people are complaining about having to pay so much for a car. They so expensive. They cost this, they cost that, and they do this and they do that. And then I'm watching and I'm seeing that you can actually get another car that don't cost as much and it does the same thing, because when you get in that car and you turn the key and you hit the accelerator, you will be at a location generally within the same amount of time, because there's something called speed limits. I found out, well, no, you can only go so fast. Anyway, it's not a race. They don't do like on the cartoons. All this in a 5-year-old mind. So I'm praying. Because I've also heard a lot about the Bible and all of that. And I'm also trying to figure out how does that all fit in with what we're dealing with now. Because what I've seen on TV is that them folks from the Bible, they didn't dress like us. They didn't have cars, y'all. So no, they weren't complaining about how much a car cost. They had houses. They had adobe huts and palaces and everything else. They wasn't talking about mortgages at the bank. So yeah, I'm wondering what is going on. And then I find out. Well, see, there was biblical times, and then these people showed up and changed everything. And really, the story of Yahashua HaMashiach is telling us about how the people were feeling by the time these folks came in and made these changes. And if you are reading in Isaiah, once it comes to the end, it's warning us that these people are coming. And if we accept what they do, it will destroy us internally, and we will not have what we used to have. And there will be weeping and wailing and gnashing of teeth, and we will be calling out for the one who is with us. Okay. So yeah, I'm praying now. I'm like, okay. So with the way that it was, so what happened to cause the problem, and I see where we are now. Problem central. Our Father which art in heaven, can you please take us back to the way that you set it up to begin with? And what can I do to help make that happen? Can you please give me some kind of skills and strengths and send me to the people that are willing to do that too? I mean, y'all, do you know that worked? Oh, it worked. Because I started getting ideas and blueprints all in my head, started meeting people, started doing things. Now, it's one thing when they're saying that you are incredibly talented when you're 2 and you're 5 years old. How about through the rest of your life? Everything that you attempt, you might do it in a very unorthodox manner, but everybody's impressed. You see, I'm a humble guy. I know I do incredible things, but no, I'm not here to brag about it. I asked for this, and I'm thankful every day because I get to go out and share it. The thing is, I'm not the only one alone on this planet with that same mission. So when folks come to me and they're asking for requests for me to do something for them instantaneously, I have to stop and I have to take a deep breath. And I don't even go through telling them what all it took for me to get up to this point to be able to be in front of them at that moment. But for everybody out here within earshot, I want you to take it into consideration the next time you want to have a conversation with Abba. Remember what was already provided here for you just because you were given the gift of life and what's expected from you for having those gifts. You see, Yahshua HaMashiach was firstborn, dedicated to the temple, went out and became a carpenter and did a few other things, traveled around, came back and was able to meet and greet with a group of individuals on different bases at different times who came together with a like mind. Guru David, Shalom Barak. Now that we got the family here together, I need to share something. Yeah, you all don't know. I tell long stories and stall out for a reason. I'm going to start with this. Yahava Ahava, green hearts and locks in the room. Yahava is love. Ahava Ahava, love is. We're going to start with this. I missed the early rising session because I didn't wake up till about 10 or 11 o'clock. I missed the prayer session because I was getting my day started as far as midday prayer. However, I started my thing where I was going and looking to see who had said something, who was actually on at the time. I saw that Kahalet Kofi had done something in the earlier part of the day, so I turned that on. While listening to that, I'm also going and reviewing for all the stuff that I had done for the day yesterday. And I happened to see that Minister Stephen is on live. I don't catch him that often. So yeah, I jumped right in. My man. Always great message. Always to my message. And he was speaking about growing plants. I want to share something with you all that most people don't talk about. Because today, we do have a subject matter for the party: symbiotic relationships. You see, my grandfather was a sharecropper. I would go to visit him. I would see cotton in the field, corn in the field, soybeans. Went there one day. Granddaddy, what's out there? Beans. I go tiptoeing out there. I'm looking. They don't look like no beans I've ever seen. Boy, you don't eat those. They always tell me to eat the beans. You don't eat those. I learned later on because to me, I do like tofu, but no, you're not supposed to eat that. That's a fertilizer. It's for the nitrogen. Now they did go ahead and make a product out of it called tofu, but no, we're not really supposed to eat that. We're supposed to grow the soybeans, then grind them up and reintroduce them to the soil. Grind them up and reintroduce them to the soil. I have to repeat myself because TikTok is stalling a little bit. And after you grind up the soybeans into the soil, it reintroduces nitrogen. And I'm watching these techniques. All right. Now, I won't lie to you. I was probably 5 years ago old when I found out about symbiotic techniques with horticulture, with botany, growing things from the ground. You see, you can have a plant and have another plant growing right there with it. And not only do they share nutrients, but they also add things to the soil that would help the other plant out, as well as keep the soil rich and ready for the next round. Interesting. Finding this out because there's a panic because all of the topsoil is not so much fertile anymore. It's being stripped. Super grow is taking the minerals out of the soil. Gigantic groves of these vegetation that they want to feed us, which are mutated, are stripping the soil. Whereas if we tried a different approach and actually grew moderately and grew things that had sister kinship and brother kinship, then the soil would be fine because it gets replenished by the wind and the rain. However, if you use something way too many times, it's going to strip it down. Now, I couldn't tell you about the plants that I did find out because it was something that I researched. However, yeah, you could grow, you could have wheat growing and you could have a plant growing right there with it. Not next door, no, right there with it. And I'm not talking about wheat and tear. I'm saying that there's something that grows next to it that helps it. Okay? All that being said, I noticed a comment where a person was saying that they get new soil every time for their pots. Please don't do that because that is contributing to stripping the soil. You can reuse your soil. If a plant does happen to perish and wither away, you shake that dirt out. It's not, you don't get rid of it. As a matter of fact, you grow something different in it. Symbiotic relationships. So, 5 years old, I made this prayer. How can I be of assistance to everyone? 12 years old, I'm getting all these answers and scoring way beyond anything scholastically and absorbing all this stuff and upward bound and da da da. No, don't even try to put me in that program. Not happening. You know, outward bound. And the point is this: I went and learned all kinds of things, and every time they would try to place me in a group or a focus group somewhere, it's not you're not going to get me in the door because I already have activities. It's bad enough you send me to school and I have to spend all this time at school. By the time I get back to the house, oh, you're not going to find me. I'm on my bike. The backpack is in the room on the bed unless I'm taking it with me because I'm out gathering some stuff. I'm gone. And you're not going to see me until nighttime. I'm coming back for dinner because I was told I have to be back for that. Might not be hungry. Brother Charlie, I'm right there with you. I heard you at the end. I heard you at the end. I feel full. I've been absorbing this and that throughout the day. Abba fed me. I don't want meatloaf right now. So I was running around planning, building, and learning. Here we go, 18 years old, ready to graduate out of high school and go to college. They wouldn't let me go to the college I wanted to go to. I wanted to go to Georgetown, not for the basketball. I just wanted to go. Wasn't quite the prestige, but I did that. I wanted to go. Nah, you can't go there. You're going to go to the local college. You want me to go to this place that doesn't offer any kind of courses for the stuff I'm interested in learning and want to do in my life? Yes, what we're telling you. Because we already have a plan for you, and all you got to do is finish these courses over here, and we're going to put you in a place, and you'll be fine. No, I won't. You're trying to line me up to do some stuff that I don't even want to do. You're trying to line me up to do some stuff where I'm not going to approve with the people who are around me 24/7, which means that I'm going to be miserable. No. To be a millionaire. So, I don't want to be a miserable millionaire. Are you kidding me? That's 18. 19, 20, I do wind up going to college just to keep some kind of movement going on in the brain. Come to find out, I do better when I just go to the library myself, which is what I was doing before I went to college. And had to inform my instructors that I was doing just fine with that, and I'm going to go back to that. While on the college campus, I run across some Kappa Alpha Sigmas, or Kappa Alpha Psi. I had already met some Omega Psi Phis, not of my own age, they were older. So I've been around these gentlemen, and I know how they conduct themselves. But these particular Kappas that I was around, they liked listening to Burning Spear. I like Burning Spear. They like Third World and all that kind of stuff. And we're gonna talk about some Marcus Garvey and everything. Oh yeah. And TJ, when you gonna start wearing red? Oh, I'm not. When you gonna twirl the cane? Oh, I'm not. When you gonna pledge? I'm not. Young ladies running up on me on campus. Are you new? Nope. Because there's certain standards that I walk under. However, I had to see what was going on with these so-called influential people and what made them decide to go that route. If you know all of that, what made you go and make that decision anyway? 19, 20 years old, I decided that it would be better for me to just start walking around the city and seeing what I can see. Why? Because I was told that I didn't have a concept of time. You know why? That's because to a toddler, 2 hours is all day. It's not that I came up with this. No. As a toddler, when I would leave the house and go walking and I would come back, they would tell me, TJ, you've been gone all day. Now, I didn't know how to tell time at the time, but I can tell you, it was less than 2 hours I'd be gone. You know, you've been gone all day. So I had started doing walkabouts the moment that my little feet could move. And I kept doing walkabouts. To this day, I do walkabouts. I have my best friends, my brothers, pull me up by the shoulder now and remind me, hey, dude, you need to get out the house. Let's go walking. So I took a walkabout around the city and I ran into some musicians, punk rockers, hippies, rock and rollers. And they were musicians played live on a constant basis. Sometimes down at the riverfront, sometimes in somebody's living room, sometimes in a venue downtown, but always somewhere. And also active, protesting against the wrong things that the legislature was doing in the city. It's my kind of people. Now, on the counter to that, I'd already been walking around the city and I ran into all the thugs that I got to meet. Some of them accepted me into their circle. Ah, I've been looking for Bruda Morel Croel for the longest. Shalom Barak. Welcome to you, peace and blessings. Minister Morel Croel is the reason why you are seeing me in front of y'all right now. I've really been tumbling around in my brain for the longest how, why, and when to get this going. My hat's off to you. Thank you for joining us. Oh, Shabbat, see you in the building. Shalom Barak. Here we go. So yeah, I met some musicians and I'd even met some thugs. And while hanging out with the thugs, we would listen to certain music and I'd rattle off with that music. And then every now and then I'd put my own verses in instead. Bro, you got some skills. You should go try to get signed. Man, I'm not trying to get signed. You seen what they doing to ABC and Crisscross and everybody else? No, I don't want no parts of that. No. No. Bro, you should do something. I tell you what, I'll figure out a way to get recorded and get myself out there. We see people pushing tapes and CDs all the time. I'll keep a couple in my backpack and sell them here and there. All right, that's not my concern. It's the thug side. And then I run into some actual professional musicians, and they're talking about how they are pressing out 45-inch vinyls, selling them, going on tour, state to state, gone for 3 months, come back, $5,000 in your pocket. Now, y'all, this is 97. 1997. 1996. 1995. Because in 1994 was when I was 18. '97, '98 is when I met an individual who goes by the name El Negro Dizzy. El Negro Dizzy was sitting in another person's living room in the recliner, had a big brown greasy bag with a double cheeseburger in it, and another big brown bag with some adult beverage in it. And he was playing Tekken, fighting game on PlayStation. And he's over there going, ripping people apart. And what caught my eye and my ear was the music that he was listening to, because it was not anything that you could hear on the radio. Not that there were any blue words or off-color remarks. No, this was underground artists that you would not be able to hear on the local station. So I sit down and I watch him play. Sure, man, you want to buy this burger? No, thanks. Appreciate you, though. Man, I'm sweet it is. Yeah, maybe later on. It's a little early right now. Had to pause for the game because TikTok trying to stop on me. We're going to keep rocking and rolling, though. The man asked me, "You want a bite of this burger?" I said, "No, I'm good." "Want a swig of this drink?" "No, it's too early. Just woke up." And where you get that music from? "Oh, man, my homies and stuff that I like." "Oh, that's what's up, man. That's what's up." "What about you? What do you do?" "Oh, I make music here and there and all that kind of stuff. You know." "Oh, you with them musicians that be around here?" "Yeah." My man paused the remote on the game, looked me square in the eye, asked me what I was doing with these folks. Because even though he and I were two peas in a pod, we were hanging out with some carrots. We were the peas, they were the carrots. We were the black-eyed peas. Can't get no more explicit or straightforward than that. We were the black-eyed peas, and they were the carrots, and we were managing to get along like peas and carrots. So he wanted to know what brought me there, and what do I do? Okay. Yeah, I make music, and been working on a storyline. I draw stuff. "Man, I draw stuff too." "Really?" "I draw in notebooks and stuff." "Man, I draw on poster boards. I draw on anything I can." "Oh, yeah? What you got?" "So, come with me." This man got up, walked out the front door, and took me next door to his house, where he showed me, you know, those poster boards that you get that you're supposed to do your school projects on? Imagine taking an ink pen and drawing, filling in all the space, and then coming back with a Sharpie to highlight what you were doing. I'm not talking about just something simple. No, I mean intricate details, a whole cityscape on a poster board. Intricate details, lettering with things going on inside of the lettering. Yeah, it's a 3D shape, and he put that shading in, but no, there's interaction going on even with that. Impressive. So you know what, E&D? Trying to start a team. I got a storyline I'm working on, got comic books and whatnot. Looks like you have some characters. We should work together. "Shoot, ninja, shoot." That's what he would say sometimes. However, yes, there are some blue words that he would use. Tell you what, while we're drawing and going back and forth, I'll hand you my notebook, you hand me yours. I'll see what's happening in there, and I'll draw some pictures if I can match up with it. You know, in my notebook, I'm usually putting notes, but sometimes I even write lyrics. Shoot, I'll be writing lyrics too. All right, we'll keep those lyrics as part of the storyline, okay? Yeah, yeah. Now, this is 98, 99. There was no Pixel. There was no, uh, what is it? Y'all know what I'm trying to say. There was no Minions. There was no 3D Disney. It was not going on. You could probably watch uh, Beauty and the Beast or something, but you were not going to have the opportunity to just sit there in your own living room and start developing an anime, let alone run across somebody who's willing to do so with you. Now you got two individuals with sparkling eyes and a dream. So I tell you what, it was another moment of kismet. The universe, the cosmos lined up because two people on the same path met up. I couldn't have the storyline that I have if it wasn't for Dizzy's contribution. So 1999, we're sitting in the living room at my house. My wife at the time, our firstborn son, members of a rock and roll band that I was in, Dizzy, and then a cousin of mine who was in the music business. We were letting him listen to uh, certain songs that we had recorded in performance because we wanted his advice on what we should do. He listened. He said, "Yeah, you all have a sound. You're definitely uh, individual, unique. You might want to get some music that people will recognize, do some cover songs." And we all laughed. You see, the rock and roll band that I was in, it had members that were already in what you would call a rockabilly band. Rockabilly is like Stray Cats. Stray cat run down the street. Ooh. All right. So the band that I was in, you take them, but you put me in as the guitar player, and it's no longer rockabilly. The bass player used to play it. The drummer used to play it in a different band. But now I need you all to play jazz. I need you all to play your version of metal, heavy metal, not glam band hair metal. No, I need some heavy metal. I need some jazz because I'm going to need for you to be able to change up at any time. We're going to be playing the same songs and riffs. However, it's going to be different every time. Cousin's telling me, oh, y'all need to have some cover songs. And so everybody in the room is laughing except for him because he doesn't know. This band already does songs. And when they do cover songs, the crowd still doesn't know. Except for those who know them. Then, yeah, you can kind of recognize, right? You'll hear it a little bit. So we already had that part of the fan base. That was not something we were worried about. What we needed to know was what was his opinion on where we were and who we needed to go talk to. And lo and behold, after all that was said, there's a couple of A&R and this and that around town, but if you go to Memphis or if you go to Atlanta or if you go to Houston, Austin, South by Southwest, you could get this and that. Huh. Fellas, remember when we was talking about going on tour? Yeah. I say we do better going on tour than trying to sign with somebody. Yeah. Well, baby was just born. So let's put together some material. Go on tour in a couple years. Or at least once the baby is able to get up and move and travel. Yeah. Now you all know life happens. And next thing you know, 2 years later, second son. No, we're not going on tour. We are gathering files and records. And when I say records, I mean, yeah, we was recording 90-minute tapes all the time. We were going and performing and My homie Diz, you've seen the doctors would have those digital recorders or the little micro cassette recorders. He kept one of those with him at all times, and he's recording what's happening. I come from a group of people that believed in DIY, do it yourself. You ever seen one of those cassette tape players that's about like that? You know, and it's got the one speaker on it. You drop your cassette in there and close it, and it's got the buttons on the side where you can pause, play, record, fast forward. We call those rock boxes. You're going to find about 3 or 4 rock boxes at any show because there will be people recording it. And some of them were actually professional sound engineers back at home. And they would have 4 tracks where they could go back and blend that sound back in and come back with a wonderful sound. Almost capture that live moment. Leveled out. Vibes 340 radio that we could use as far as material to let people know that we exist. So finally I said, hey yo Diz. So that's what I call him. I call him Diz. Not Dizzy. I call him Diz. Hey yo Diz. How about we come out with our first album and then go from there? Shooting in the shoe, yeah. What are we gonna call it? Mafia Files Volume. Well, you know that makes sense. You gotta start somewhere, right? Okay. We started Mafia Files Volume 1, the comic book, way before it was given that title. 99. We recorded the album for it 2009, 2010. I registered the first album for Highest Heights Studio in 2016. Highest Heights Studio, my label. Mafia Soy Publications belongs to El Negro Dizzy, me, all members of the Crisco Kids band. One who has passed away named Victor Whitney Wiley. One who has passed away named TC. There are a few other members who actually sat with us when we were making decisions on what we wanted to do. Mafia Soy Publications is headed by El Negro Dizzy. He is the CEO. I'm the vice president. Last time the CEO and I were talking, he told me, man, you handle all this, you the VP. You know why? I didn't want to pay anybody to promote us. I didn't want to send our stuff all around asunder for anybody to just do whatever and not even know what our real identity and purpose was. And he had found somebody that said, okay, I'll do that for you for $60 a month. But there were no guarantees. It was just, yeah, that person would do that. Okay, well, we still have to make sure that we are registered and our sound is out proper and all this kind of thing, da. So we were knuckling down, making sure that we had our product right, but we were still going back and forth. You know, it's like, man, I don't want to spend money on promotion when we can do things to get better materials or reach out to these other folks over here who are not charging. Back and forth. You know what? We should have already been on. Well, yeah, you're right. We should have. We're in the wrong region. All that to say this. I got plenty of recordings concerning Mafia Soy. As a matter of fact, some of the things that you are hearing, even today, started out as a Mafia Soy concept. I had to release my own individual album just to go ahead and put my foot in the door so that everybody else has an opportunity. I didn't get to meet Barry Gordy. I woke up one day and realized that that's who I had to be. I didn't get to meet Russell Simmons. I'm going to have to be that dude. As a matter of fact, I'm going to have to do it my way. Father of Ishmael, I got to do it my way. you know? And I already gave y'all too much information. Anybody out there want to do some spy research on me? I've given you plenty of information. You better been paying attention because you're not going to get too much else, right? But yeah, so Busy and I went back and forth about a few different things. However, we did produce so much material. I've got notebooks and notebooks and notebooks and notebooks. I don't have to draw anything else for the rest of my life because of all the different images we already have that haven't even been put out there for the public to see. No, I don't have to draw anything else. 1999, you couldn't take a picture and then tell the computer to give you a 3D image of what's on that two-dimensional space. You can now. 1999, it would have taken 200 people sitting in a room or several rooms, banging away on computers to get a pixelated version of something, let alone what you really want out of that sketch. That was 1999. It's been 25 years, 26 years. Now I don't need a 200 member team because most of the stuff I can do myself. DIY. I saw someone being shamed because they opted to use artificial intelligence to design a picture. I've had people come to my posts and try to shame me because I used artificial intelligence to design a picture. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, family, I'm here to tell you the picture got designed because it was fashioned here first. Sometimes it's an image that I put in and I say, I want you to work with this image. Other times it's me telling the computer exactly what I want it to draw because I'm giving it the environment. I'm giving it the personage that I want. This is what I want it to look like. This is the individual that I want. And if it's dissatisfactory, you all don't get to see it. Same way with any picture that I draw from myself. If it's dissatisfactory, you're not even going to know it exists. Completely frozen? That's because TikTok is tripping. We have a full, let's see, we're also at the hour and 18-minute mark, which means we're about 20 minutes away from the top of the hour, I guess, somewhere around there. And we're rocking and rolling. We were rocking and rolling before the electric guitar. We were rocking and rolling before they tried to put us on that boat that nobody wants to talk about. We were rocking and rolling and traveling and visiting on boats and casting nets. And so we're going to keep on. If it's freezing on TikTok, it's okay because we are recording it on YouTube. We will rock and roll back and forth between these channels until we find that secured, encrypted channel that we can share. That will be our boat, and we will cast nets to these places from there. So right now I'm here just to let you all know it exists. So to wrap this up, Mafia Soy Publications offers comics, animation, and soundtracks. It's where my musician experience comes from. It's where my graphic illustrations experience comes from. Doing that for years. Not sitting up in a room and somebody telling me to type these different sequences in to get it to draw on the screen. No, picking up a pen and drawing in a notebook and actually writing out what it is that was on my mind. You see, I wanted to write books, I wanted to write stories, but there was an occasion in my life that switched up my brain synapses. They tried to put me up on the fourth floor for a second, and when I came back down, I wasn't so great at writing out long, lengthy chapters, but I still retained the ability to draw. I still retained the ability to write lyrics. So I kept that because they say a picture's worth 1,000 words. You telling me I don't gotta write 1,000 words anymore? Okay. Mafia Soy Publications is the vehicle that was already the driving force for me wanting to put short films out there. For every volume of one of the Mafia Soy comics, that's a short film. Out of volume one, there are many because there are basically 6 or 7 different issues or notebooks that have their own storylines inside that need to be put out there for people to read. Why has that not been a pressing issue? Because the message of Yahashua ad Ravak HaKadesh ad Yahweh Elohim weighs precedent over everything. I've spent plenty of time in my life writing out what I want to do, learning the skills. But I went and learned all of that so that I could actually be of true help and great service. And as my grandmother would say, doing a great work. That was the real intention. I didn't start doing this to become famous as a rapper. I'm not a rapper. I'm a lyricist. I didn't do this because I wanted to grab the bag. I was a toddler when hip hop was a toddler. When I was 2, hip hop was 2. Don't play with me. Actually, hip hop started around 72. But it don't matter. I was a toddler when hip hop was a toddler. What hip hop is doing right now makes me scratch my head, but I'm not going to disown it because there's a misrepresentation out there. And that all has to go on the back burner because hip hop is not necessarily Kingdom of Yahweh. There's elements that started with it that are still Kingdom of Yahweh. And that's why I hold strong to it. But that is not my everyday thing. People say there's a religion in this and a religion in that. Okay, well, yeah, hip hop is my religion. And I'm not talking KRS-One. I do look up to him and admire him and respect what he's done. However, there's some things that he's done that I wouldn't do. There's things he said that I wouldn't say. And I'm not pointing any fire at him. He's a grown man and was grown when I was seeing him for the first time. When I was 16, the man was already 20, 21. I'm looking up to him because he's in a whole nother region doing his thing. What I want to do, he's doing it. So yeah, I'm paying attention. Mafia Soy had to be put on pause. As a matter of fact, I gladly put all of that on pause to pick up the reins of being able to promote a very special interest group who represents the kingdom of Yahweh. Now, who is that? It's the kingdom of shepherds. And who is that? Yahashua. Who is that? Children of Adam. Who is he? First regent put on this earth to represent Yahweh. Who's that? The one who made everything and owns everything? What's everything? You're part of it. Any more questions? You all, I was delighted to be able to actually speak again with my brother Dizzy a couple months ago. Can't wait to see him again. I've been delighted every day that I wake up and I'm able to post some music or post something to let you all know what's been bouncing around in my head. I've been thankful every time I wake up and I see other people posting stuff and I can share it because it's a reflection of how we are like-minded. Let me see something real quick. Okay. So it's got 19 minutes. 19 minutes to the top of the hour. You all, I hope you enjoyed the story because we're not through by far. Nubian style. Shalom at Barak. Peace and blessings to you. Urban royalty. Familiar name. Shalom at Barak family. Today we were discussing the origins of Mafia Soy Publications and the partnership with Highest Heights Studio. When you see those drawings from me that are just straight up ink on notebook paper, I'm showing you all the inside of Mafia Soy Comics. It doesn't have to look like your Sunday panel in the newspaper. As a matter of fact, we just chose to make the whole notebook page a square. And then sometimes we draw the panels in just to give you the experience. We have chosen to take those same pictures and find a way to make them moving pictures. So it's not just for your entertainment because there's a lot going on in these comic books. There are depictions of positive forces fighting against evil forces. There are the depictions of what we see as social ills, problems that we're all dealing with. When we say that we want to come out of her, we want to come out of Babylon. Those things within Babylon that make us want to get out of it, I'm not putting that stuff there to aggrandize it, to make sure that that's what people want to do. I'm here to tell you that's the reason why I have to stop people talking sometimes. Because when they start trying to tell me about hip hop and they start trying to tell me about the big rope chains and the this and that and the cars, naked women and so forth, partially naked men, that ain't got nothing to do with hip hop. A positive vibe with information is how hip hop started. Rapping for each other. Rapping. That's not what hip hop is. There was a while before words were even in hip hop. And then, in order for you to be part of that, you had to be a lyricist. Because first, the DJ was already saying 1, 2, 3, 4, mic check. Put your hands in the air and wave them like you don't care. It took someone actually taking a microphone and saying some things to make people think in order for them to say, okay, well, yeah, you can have the microphone again. Otherwise, you need to shut up and go on over there because these people are out here battling and breakdancing. I don't want to hear that mucky you talking about. I like how he's kicking over there. That looked like we're watching Kung Fu and we got some break beats going. That's hot. All right? Hip hop. Rhymes 82. I think I saw you in here earlier. Shalom Apparat. Remember that name. So, on that note, let me see something. I'm gonna play some more music for you all. Probably got about 10 minutes or so. So that could be at least 2 or 3 songs, right? So for your listening pleasure, here's a couple more songs from the Crystallized Mind album. For you all who do not know, this album is dedicated to how to decalcify your pineal gland. So by all means, go look it up. Crystallized Mind, artist 3PROJH, 3P Roche. And also remember, I'm showing you all this stuff to let you know that yes, I'm established. I'm not here to just push my product. I want to do this for you all. I'm not saying who wants to be a rapper. Oh, by the way, one more thing. Yeah. That reminds me. Love Move Family. I hear y'all are working on your group name and all that kind of stuff. I'm doing this to show you how you all can start your studio and have your label legitimate. Nobody can ask questions about it. You're global. And when people want to ask Siri what to play, they're playing your music. All right? That's why I'm doing this. Just want to make that clear. Love. Ahava, 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 ahava. That's why I'm doing this. I can't play your stuff because I don't have it. I have what's mine and what I can actually show. All right. See, I'm playing my music so I can get the platforms to respond and show me that they have to respect the copyright that's there. And then I can go back and show you all. See this right here? This is where it's showing me that even though, yeah, it's my copyright and they wanted to try to restrict it for a second, they had to let it go because it's my product. And that's on any platform. They'll try to tell you that you have to use the music that only they provide. Are you kidding me? Well, then, if that's the case, let me share something with you all. I do it this way so that you can listen now and download later. The stuff that I play, it's available. And you can go and get it at any time. Why? Because there was a time when there were local radio stations that played all kinds of stuff. And if you've got 50 states in the United States, then you have about 200 major cities. And each one of those major cities is going to have radio stations. And there was a time where artists would either be paid by the plays in the radio station or from whatever they gained from tickets and concerts and merchandise being sold. Well, things have not changed that much. They might try to tell you that it has, but no, it hasn't changed that much. Artists are in an uproar because Spotify doesn't pay that much. They're not supposed to. They're just one. That's one radio station. Nobody ever got rich off of royalties. Royalties are a small percentage. The payment is when you download one song for $1, a full album of 10 songs for $10. Then go straight back to the artist. Now the artist is being paid. Royalties is we're giving you a tip. It's exactly what it is. Please remember that. Do not be distracted by all of this media out here talking about how artists are being ripped off because certain groups are not paying royalties. It is not about the royalties. A full download being paid to the artist is where you are supporting. That's cake. Royalties are icing. Please remember that. That's right. Live shows equal ticket sales. That's exactly right. Let's see what we got here on deck. Ha ha! Yeah. Don't fall, cause when you fall it hurts. Clouds filters red. Like a smurf. So he gunners. Those planes like and boards. Mixes into splinters. Building with the creator. While I serve my elbows and knees. A little bit off balance there. I was trying to show you all my knees, but that's a little too high. Stick protection. Being treated alien like Mexicans. Nitrates, lessons, Crisco and lesson from my lungs. Mic checking. The nation is cause. repaired, wrenched, or falling backwards. Gravity, the enemy, he stares. Like a smurf. Demolishing costs. And then a sister came along, had a party with a tsunami. To the KK Kardashians with the Hiltons. The media and markets. The Herald and Tribune, but nobody hearkens. It's when you fall that hurts. Like a spur. It's when you fall that hurts. All right, we're gonna let one more play. We're gonna close out on that one. I thank all of you for joining today. Don't forget to come back tomorrow. We're gonna do it all again. God willing, inshallah. It's one of my favorite songs. I believe. If you know who ODB is, you know why I did this. The GOP must be cramped. I want to live for free. You cannot have my money, 'cause I don't have no money. I want to live for free. Newton grass is in our yard. You see two cities all but sink. Just balance with roll calls. Like Viagra inside of Obie Taylor. Cause I don't have no money. I want to live free. Bubble high and out. Shalom up rock. Credit from 9 to 5 on the graveside. No control, but we won't call it bloodletting. It's upsetting on the land and to yours. On the ground on all fours. Want to live for free. You cannot have my money, 'cause I don't have no money. I want to live for free. I want to give a special shout out to Minister Morel Crowell. Thank you so much for joining in today. I want to give a special shout out to Love Move. Also a special shout out to SOC as a whole. Special shout out to everyone who came in. Akati Deborah, Bavakasha. It's always a pleasure. It's my pleasure to be of service for you all. Because me doing this basically covers what I'm supposed to be doing for the day. So, my heart goes out to all of you. Yahava, Ahava. Yahava is love. Ahava, Ahava. Much love and much respect to all of you. Shalom at Barak. Assalamu alaikum. Our Father's peace be with all of you. And have a great day. Till next time.